Hello again, folks. Captain HBO here, and I'm here to do another wish list summer movies. This one's coming out a bit more recently, but it's also based on something that's a good part of my childhood. Transformers, the movie Transformers: Dark of the Moon by Michael Bay. Yes. I mean, just think about this. Yes. Let's think back to the 90s, and the 80s. His 80s and 90s, but if you weren't there, just try to imagine that. Transformers were awesome. I mean, the cool toys. There's a cartoon series. And the G1's probably one most people remember, and rediscovering it through the Hub network that just opened. And there's also one of the ones I grew up with is Beast Wars. That's where the whole truck not monkey meme comes from. But that one's actually pretty cool to me. It was one of the first series that had CGI. And it wasn't that bad. And I liked it. Then once it got into Beast Machines, it was getting a little sketchy, but then there was the Transformers Robots in Disguise, which was an anime, based on Transformer-like series from Japan. And of course, a lot of episodes and content was cut because of 9/11. Everything was going on around the time, but it was was pretty good. Then there was the Armada line, which also had Stranger G1, but it was also an anime and had these little things called the Minicons, little attachments to Transformers. I kind of stopped watching this show and playing with the toys around the time Transformers Imagon came out, but I did discover the 1986 Transformers movie recently on YouTube. Hope I loved it, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. This is the third Michael Bay's Transformers trilogy, and have the movie right here. Now, I may be one of the few people in most of my circle of my friends that actually didn't like this entry in particular. I mean, look at this. Look at this cover. In Optimus, Bumblebee, and Megatron take up almost half the box. So you'd think it'd be more about them, but apparently, they can't just rely on selling themselves alone anymore. I mean, I know there have always been humans and Transformers in various forms, but they took another level here. They got the military involved in it, which was not a wise move for anybody who's actually watched Transformers in a lifetime. That's what these machines are capable of. And there was also how brought in a real star, Shia LaBeouf. Now, this little scamp and plays Sam Witwicky, he sort of a hyped up Marty McFly high stand-in, and then I really don't see people wearing. And I actually, I don't think the girls were in there were very good as well either. I mean, I will not deny that Megan Fox is beautiful, but there's one thing I demand from an actress, and that's a personality and an ability to act. Megan Fox unfortunately had neither, and thus, the way the acting and the writing that sort of made every scene with the human sort of built until the robots come in. I will give it this, as the CGI they did for the robots was awesome. And they gave the G1 characters a new, who Apple Store-like feel. Hell, they also made them light, nice, and rough and lived in, and even before the fight scenes took place. So actually, I think one people give me a lot of beef for, because I actually like the second movie. I have here Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and it was on a lot of worst lists as of 2009, but it was the highest grossing film up to that year before Avatar came out. And it's currently the highest grossing movie ever based on a cartoon, with well over $836 million worldwide, including over $402 million in this country, the US. I mean, a lot of people criticize the plot and the rich stereotypes, but come on, it's Transformers. they've been like that, and ever since Cameron Crothers and Robert Stack were doing voices for the show. Oh. And the product placement really doesn't bother me, since it's first and foremost a movie based on a cartoon based on a series of toys. It's a given. And anyway, there was a lot more scenes with robots, and I like that because, as I said, Michael Bay and Rob and Alex have not been doing a good job with the human characters. It's just, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a series about robots, but I think in both films was given very little incentive to care for the human characters, whether they got hurt or died or lived or not. Just seemed very incoherent. But this 4th of July weekend, Transformers Dark of the Moon is coming out. It's also going to do scenes for the Dinobots, so I give you applause there, Bay. Aaron Kruger's taking over the writing, going to make it darker. I applaud that, since the humor just felt really off to me. It did. He was kind of spoiled when I was younger. I grew up on a lot of Monty Python and other British comedy. And since I am a bit of a NASCAR fan, I do like that I have NASCAR racers like Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved in the story. But I really love it. Someone who hates Jeff Gordon to actually see Starscream totally crumple up the Jeff Gordon and Ottawa if they could. But anyway, here's some of my wishes for this one. Number 1, I want Shia LaBeouf's Wiki character to be a little bit more mature. Since they got rid of Megan Fox, thank goodness for that. As I said before, she's a horror. I don't think she's that great an actress. It's Jennifer's a lot of postings with work she's doing. Jennifer's Body, Jonah Hex. Thank goodness those tanked. And sorry if a lot of people got bad press for that. And since it's a darker story, I'd like a lot less focus on the humor. I mean, think about the 1986 movie. Everybody knows the death of Optimus Prime was really a childhood staple, really and sad, but it was a real tearjerker. But they actually killed a lot of Autobots in that movie, and for that, in that sense, a lot of Decepticons as well. Oh, it was pretty dark for a kids movie. So I actually wouldn't mind if they took advantage of this. And think of a lot of movies like Star Wars Episode 3, Nolan Batman movies, things that did darkness well. And I'd like to see a bit more like that. Second, I'm hoping Rosie Huntington Whaley does well, especially since he's playing G1 Curly, which I think might have been a big a fantasy for most nerds. It's since Scully Farrah Fawcett. I know there's a before and after, but think about it, please. I think another thing they're taking care of is that they're going to make the robots redesigns, make them more like the G1 designs, show that they're aged. Machine aged. Wait, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but yeah. So when they do that, I hope they can pull it off convincingly. I mean, it's really a stretch with a lot of live action movies based on cartoons that rely on CGI. I mean, Scooby-Doo and Marmaduke came off as too much like taking a real dog and just making its lips move. It just seemed off. But the Garfield movie, it did look a lot like the real Garfield, sort of compound a lot of the ones for the comics and the TV shows. And I'm seeing a lot of advertising for the new Smurfs movie, and I must admit, I really watched the Smurfs show, but they're not. But I don't know about that. They're really not unimpressive after I've seen a Na'vi in action. Number 4, if I end up seeing the movie in 3D or IMAX, I hope they do that well. They were talking about the conversion process going it, but then Michael Bay developed got this fusion camera system. I don't know where it came from, but it's being used for a lot of 3D movies now. Supposedly more advanced the system they use for Avatar. So I hope they do a good job with that. At 5, I want to see a lot more losses on both sides. It's not gonna talk more about the 1986 movie. Pretty much covered all the bases on that. But big back to the first movie. When Moby got his legs, he blasted off an attack. That was pretty extreme. Him also Jazz got ripped apart. In second movie, we had Optimus get impaled through his chest. As we had some of the Decepticons intentionally tear apart one of the Revenant and just to make parts to revive Megatron. Got Alice as the Pretender. They got smashed into a light pole. Well, Devastator. They got blasted with a railgun beam, and he got blasted. And parts also a lot of face and the Fallen himself. Sorry if I'm giving it away, but a lot of people hate it. Probably didn't see it, but they stabbed through the neck, and got his face covering being ripped off. I mean, it's a pretty brutal thing that happened to it. It's almost as bad. It's pretty much a Kyle Reese situation there. Or maybe he can't sing, but they're saying getting himself. Okay. 6. Next I appreciate that the ticket sales can't be relied on alone. And I know that they also had to do other advertising to get people into the movie, make more money. I appreciate that, but I think I know that marketing PG-13 movies with a lot of violence and bad language and sex to kids is pretty much a staple at this point, but just try and tone it down. I mean, not just with the product placement. I mean, Revenge of the Fallen kind of broke Michael Bay's record from the island about most brands featured in the movie, but I would like if there was a little, stop blasting us with advertising, using all the time, on this sort of thing. I mean, in the morning, Saturday morning, it's a kind of ritual, like to go watch Pokemon. I think virtually every other ad set at the Burger King premiums, the toys, the video games, like it to tone that down. Sunday night, watch The Simpsons, Family Guy. I with my family. There's not a trailers for the movie, and sometimes the TV network will agree to do an entire week of promotion of that movie. So it's kind of the whole thing they do with Rio, and it's maybe not really. I think it's done so much just so making. Maybe kids want to see that movie, but that's kind of off subject. And even more so when I go online and see if I'm browsing videos, going through videos on YouTube or browsing a friend's Facebook page. Maybe even just doing something simple like checking my email on Gmail. Just it seems like there's every sort of advertisement when there is for the movie that just okay. Let's think about this. Let's budget for the first movie $150 million. Budget for the second $200 million. Guessing it's going to be around $250 million for this one. And they're going to spend 50% more of that. And they're going to spend an additional half of that for marketing. And think one of the really things that irks me sometimes that if you're trying to have an anti-consumerist movie, it's probably a bad idea to have a marketing program and have been reported in a magazine like Entertainment Weekly, people having the largest marketing budget ever for a single movie. Essentially what happened with Avatar, WALL-E, and Speed Racer, that kind of irked me. I like those movies, but it's kind of sending mixed messages, don't you think? Oh, it's in a time limit. And I'm using a lot of placements. Anyway, that's my wishes. This is for the Transfer Dark of the Moon. Captain SPL signing off. Off till all are one, there is more than meets the eye.